Hello, besties. How are you tonight? I'm back from a vacation that I took to Charleston to hang out with the people from Southern Hospitality, and I'm telling you, it was one of the best trips that I have had in a while. I will be having a special episode tomorrow with two people that I went with, and it's going to be fun. We're gonna be talking about the whole experience. Um, we ate at different levels restaurants. We hung out with the cast while they were working at Republic. So for those who are saying that they don't work there, yes, they do. We met all of them, but we also got the opportunity to hang out with them outside of work. We went to brunch, we drank, we did so many things. But um, we'll be talking about that tomorrow. So mark your calendars on Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be having a special Charleston trip about Southern hospitality and all the fun that we have there. But tonight, like I said before, I was away for a trip and I needed to watch all the shows that I was behind, like Potomac and Family Karma, and then New Jersey came out, and then Vanderpump's Rule came out, and then we got a new episode of Miami. So why have two episodes when we can just have one supersized episode this week? We'll be talking about all the shows. I have thoughts, I have opinions, and I hope you guys join the conversation and have all your questions ready because we are gonna be spilling some tea tonight. And we're gonna start with Potomac. Potomac came to an end on the last episode, and I'm sad because I love my ladies of Potomac. On this episode, we also learned that Ashley is actually getting the house with Michael, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I think it's a really bad idea to get a house with somebody who you are divorcing, especially if you haven't talked about payments. Based on what she said, her mortgage is $13,000. That is a lot of money for a mortgage a month. I know. I mean, my mortgage is, it's a couple of $1,000, but it's not close to 13,000. So she better get that thing together because if she's going to be the owner of this home and Mr. Michael decide not to pay the mortgage or whatever, you know, arrangement they have, because I still don't understand what the freaking thing they're doing, she better know that she has to come out with that money. But the fact that they haven't even spoken about it to me is very strange. How can you buy a property, which is a big investment that you want for yourself, yet you haven't asked the question about payments, and also you haven't um, realized that having Michael attached to this home, it's quite not separating, not divorcing. It's actually uh a contract, almost like a marriage, a business transaction. So I don't understand what Ashley's doing. I hope she's smart enough to put everything on a paper. And she keeps saying that Michael is the one taking care of this whole thing because he had the experience on real estate. But you should be reading the small print, Ashley, because to me it sounds very dangerous. Like I don't want to have a Hulu special in the future about Ashley and how she defaulted her mortgage, or the money was coming from, from uh, unknown sources or stuff like that. Because I mean, you're getting divorced. You don't want to be associated with this person. You don't know Michael's intentions at the end of the day. Um, so I hope she's reading the small print. Another moment that I thought it was quite cute, even though the topic it was not. It was the moment between Giselle and her daughters. You know that I'm not a big Giselle fan, but when it comes to her relationship with her daughters, I think that's the only redeeming quality that Giselle has. Yes, I said it. That's the only redeeming quality she has. They are talking about the surgery that she's having, and that she has to get her uterus removed, and they're talking about the ovaries, and I'm not understanding one thing that they're talking about because I don't have an uterus, I don't have an ovary, and I am too old to remember biology at this point. Um, Last time that we have this type of conversation was when I was in high school, probably. I did not go to college for anything related to chemicals or like biology or anything like that. I went to school for filmmaking, so that's what I know and that's what I remember. But they were having this conversation, and just the same way that they were confused, her daughters, I was confused too. I was like, I know Giselle is asking what schools are teaching, but at the same time, I don't remember. So I can also question my knowledge on the uterus and the vagina topic. Yeah, that was kind of cute. I just I appreciate how Giselle is open with her daughters. I appreciate the conversation that they were having. And if it was up to me and the producers, I will highlight those moments more instead of what she does. I'm kind of annoyed with the whole Chris's accusations and the way that she's always ready to stir the pot for other people and riding somebody's coattail and always kind of plotting to destroy somebody's marriage or career or just showing jealousy. Like when they went to Candace's video release, and she was just being in the confessional, she was being so dismissive about it and like, oh, I don't remember the song, I know there was a song, I didn't pay attention about the video, I just wish her the best. I mean, it read like jealousy to me. I don't know about you guys. If you have any opinions on this situation, please leave me a comment on my Instagram or Twitter, Martinez with Eddie, or on the comment section here on YouTube. Also, on my podcast. I always read your comments, your reviews. I'm very, very grateful for that. At the event, they confronted Karen, and she was not happy about it. She accused, Cherise to always exaggerate the truth, and um I can see why Karen is frustrated with her because it's like the same conversation over and over again, and it doesn't feel genuine. Like, there's no genuine concern. There's no there is always an agenda with these women. So I can see why Karen was like, I'm not staying here. I'm leaving. I'm gonna just grab my man and go home because you bitches are too much. You bitches are always trying to cause trouble, and not gonna bother with this. And the fact that Candace grabbed a flower, put it on one of those like little like the robe holder thingy, what the stand, and she's giving a speech. The editors showed the little icon, the little thing with her name, Karen. I think that was hysterical. I'm thinking the editors and producers deserve a raise. They deserve the payment because they keep this show moving. They keep this show entertaining and always like creative every single time. At this party, Ashley approached Candace about talking to Chris and kind of tried to see where he stands with her or whatever. Candace kept calling her friend a Sesame Street character, and I'm hoping to God the Sesame Street is paying her because I completely forgot that they were still on. Maybe because I don't have kids, I don't watch it, but I completely forgot about Sesame Street. And since Candace has been mentioned it all I do is always Googling the characters. Like Sesame Street better be giving her some cash, like a royalty check, because Candace is um Candace is definitely promoting them hardcore with this season and calling Ashley's friends a Sesame Street character. But yeah, Ashley approached her. Candace is not about it. She's like, no, we don't trust you. We don't know what you're gonna say. We don't know what you're gonna how you're gonna react. And it's true. Every single time that Ashley tries to say something, it seems to me like she already has um, something in mind to try to twist the conversation and make sure that the other person is either, you know, kind of like the the one that is being malicious, or like she always asks some questions. She likes to produce, she likes to produce the moment. And Candy's like, bitch, no, like go away. We don't want to talk to you. And Ashley went ahead and said, like, I'm going. I don't care. And Chris was very honest about it. He's like, I mean, how can I trust you? You were talking about my reputation. You don't understand what you're doing. You are, accusing me of stuff that can damage my reputation and personality. And honestly, he knew, Chris knew that Ashley wasn't coming from a place of like, let me try to fix what I said. She was just double dipping her heel on the problem. She was not trying to apologize. You cannot apologize to somebody for what you said and how you affect them if you already come with shade. Aaron, that's right. I see you right here. I saw you. Aaron says Ashley definitely went there to shake Chris, and it's true. The fact that Ashley promoted this idea or rumor that Chris was looking at her friend when production has been showing that he's not is the funniest thing ever, because us as viewers know that even though Ashley is trying to make her friend a thing, she wasn't even invited to the reunion. Like, no, 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 no. Nobody wants this person around. We don't want you in the show. You came to play this like game of, I'm gonna cause some drama with Candace so I can somehow make my way into the show. And obviously Ashley was trying to help her make that happen, but it didn't work. Nobody bought it. Not even on sale, not even in clearance. Nobody bought whatever she was saying. Period. Um, yeah, the party. I love Candace's song. I love Insecure. I love the video. It's a great, great step up for Candace. She's getting her music, you know, in places outside the housewife universe. And we had seen her hanging out at the Grammys parties. She is, she's breaking records. She is, working with hip hop royalty. So I do think that Candace has a future in the music industry. Personally, I believe that she is the housewife with, objectively talking, the best song, Drive Back, um, and with the biggest potential to make an impact in the music industry within the housewife universe. Let's not go like all like, yeah, like she's like, I don't know, in the same level as like other big singers and stars, but she's making her way up there. She's working really hard, and you can tell that she truly appreciates the fact that Chris has been there this whole entire time. When I met Chris at BravoCon, he definitely uh, stayed by her side. They were very gracious. I have nothing but great things about to say about them. Great things. They were welcoming. They were very excited to be there. In the same way that I see them on the show when they are talking about Kansas' career. So, kudos to Candace because um, many housewives have tried it. Not that many have made the impact that she is making in the music industry. And yes, we can talk about Candace, but Candy. Candy is absolutely the icon of music on The Housewife because she was already established producer when she got on the show. I just think that when it comes down to like having um, a kind of like a single that came out of The Housewife, Candace has that. I believe the hardcore. Like I listen to Drive Back at least once a day because it's so good. Especially the new version on the deluxe album that she is promoting at that party too that includes Insecure. I feel like I'm just doing a promotion here. But no, I'm not getting paid. This is not like a paid advertisement. I just truly like her music. So if you haven't listened to Drive Back, the live version on her deluxe, go play it because it brings me to BravoCon. That was the version that she performed at BravoCon. She performed it live to start with. So now she had the same version on the deluxe, and I just love that version. And to end the episode, Robin finally marries Juan Dixon, but not how they were planning to do in Jamaica. They got married in Maryland, and thank God because if they got married in Jamaica, how tacky! Like how tacky! The fact that they thought that it was okay to plan a wedding the day after somebody else's wedding that they were attending, to me is the tackiest thought ever. So at least they didn't get married in Jamaica. They invited her parents who were complaining the whole entire time because they were not gonna be invited, and I always thought it was kind of weird. And they do all this like montage and how happy they are and all the struggles, and I'm thinking to myself, we just found out that Juan Dixon actually cheated on her with somebody from Canada that came over when the pandemic rules were lifted, and Juan Dixon paid for her hotel, and allegedly, Robin said that it was because he was just being a good person. Sure. The funniest part of that finale though, I think the producers once again and the editors were like, no, we're not gonna play this game. We're not gonna act like everything is fine. And what they did was the last shot was um Robin giving the camera the finger as if she was like winning some kind of like I told you so kind of thing. Like I was getting married. I got married. Um Well, right after that, literally right after, the producers and editors added a screen with all the details of Juan Dixon cheating on Robin. Like, no, bitch, you didn't win. No, 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 no. You lied to us. And editors and producer were like, we don't like it. We don't like that you lied to us. So we are gonna play with you. We're gonna play with your ass. We're gonna pretend that you're gonna end in a happy tone, and we're gonna expose your lies. Which, by the way, we all know that Robin went to watch what happened live, and things got heated between her and Andy. Andy's not happy. You can tell that he's not happy about the things that Robin did, especially charging fans to get her side of the truth or her version or the tea. And that totally, totally takes away from the whole point of being on a reality TV show. they have a contract, so they show their life completely. And if they had any type of information, they needed to share it because that conversation was made during the show was filmed. I think I do have an issue when housewives lie purposely. Like some housewife, um, they find out after they filmed or something like that. So they try kind of like to come up with something, or they save that information for this following season, but purposely lying, purposely keeping that information, and then try to charge fans. Heather Gay, part 2.0, with her black eye in her book that is not in there, don't buy it. She, I mean, how embarrassing is that freaking black eye? So it's the same thing with this situation. I mean, you don't do that. Honestly, you do not do that to the fans. I'm not a fan of Robin, but I think what she did was not right, and Andy has all the right to be upset. And yes, Aaron, I agree with you. Andy's right to be pissed, and I see that you're a Robin fan, and that's great. Like I said before in previous shows, I am the type of person who always welcomes all the fans of all the housewives. We can have the conversation. But I agree with you. You also said, I'm gonna put it on the screen. Uh, Aaron said that Robin, she was a fan and she still is, but it's time to retire and become a friend of. I agree because I say this. This is the reason why I do not care enough to see Robin pretending to, you know, to fix her marriage as a storyline. Her whole entire like storyline for the past like 7 seasons was her wedding, and we got to that point, and I might be interested to see what happened after if we didn't have the situation that we've been talking about happening. And I would be surprised if Andy actually, well, Andy is, he's not the casting director, but I'm pretty sure he pushes for Housewives to be cast. So I wouldn't be surprised if Andy's like, yeah, next. Because if they allow this to happen, it allows other housewives to do the same. And that is against the whole, premises of the show. That's the problem. She went against the premises of a show that she signed up for herself. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like signing up for a job and just do 2 out of 3 chores that you are supposed to be doing when you have to be doing all 3 to get paid. So, with that said, Potomac came to an end. We will be having the reunion after Super Bowl Sunday, which I'm excited about because I love Rihanna and I know she's gonna put in a great show. So remember that this Sunday, we don't have Bravo Show, we don't have Potomac or Family Karma. And talking about Family Karma, I had the opportunity to interview Bali. So if you haven't listened to that episode, just go find it. It was a really fun interview. We talk about all things Family Karma. If you love Family Karma, you're going to enjoy that interview because you get to know Bali in a different level, maybe more information that you get about her on the show. She opened up and she did not hold back. So I would recommend you, if you love Family Karma, go listen to my interview with Bali. On this episode of Family Karma, we see different, drama situation happening. Um, which we start with Nicholas and Enred and his parents, kind of like preparing all the gift bags for the guest. They're gonna make 100, and they're having a good time until until uh, Enrich's mom talk about the Gari. That's an event in the Indian culture and traditions that the bride and the groom do for their parents, like the day before the wedding. It's kind of like to make the parents feel special, which is a cute idea, but I can see how Nicholas can be a little annoyed by it because he feels like the wedding is supposed to be just the two of them. I mean, he's trying to understand the Indian tradition of getting married, and even Andrew himself has said it. It's very gender focused. Like there are events for the bride, there are events for the groom. They obviously those are not happening because there's no bride. At the same time, though, I feel bad for Enrich, especially his mom, because they are extremely involved and they love Nicholas. So maybe they were not expecting his reaction to, them asking Henry and Nicholas to celebrate Agari for them. I mean, you can tell in the conversation that she kind of wanted them to say like, okay, let's do it. She kept saying like, oh, this person had it and this person had it, and people think that we're having one but we are not, but we are fine. She kept saying we are fine. But that's what parents do when they truly want to be included, and they're trying, like they are looking for that way for the kids to be the one to say, okay, we will do it for you, and that did not happen. um yeah, that was a little dramatic, but that conversation continues when they go to Atlanta. That's where the wedding is, and we will get to that point later on. um there's a scene between Monica and Monica's dad that it kind of made me kind of cry a little bit, because Monica's dad is telling her like why are you pushing your timeline because of him? Why are you not looking into see if he really want to settle down? And if you are ready and he's not, maybe it's time to start looking for like other people. Like don't wait and like miss in the opportunities to meet somebody out there, which makes her cry a little bit. And he also mentioned that Rich is in Vegas for a wedding with his brother's girl, who's the one that started the rumor about Rich cheating on Monica. So I'm still confused on why is Monica not being invited and why Monica is always being like ignored by Rich family when the one that started the rumors and is painting Rich as a cheater is the other girl. Please let me know because I don't get it. If you have an idea or an opinion, just go to Martini with Eddie on Twitter, on Instagram, because I want to listen to your opinions. I'm confused. 100%. Unless the parents believe what she's saying and they just like not caring enough. Because in a different position, I will say that they will take Monica's side to be like, hey, we know that our son is not like that. We are so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. Try their best to make her feel special, but no, nope, no. Don't get it. We have a moment between Bali and her mom where she told Bali that it's time to pack it up. Pack it up. They need their space. And you know how parents are. Whenever they want their kids out, they don't hold back. Um, it seems like Bali is trying to, do what is best for her and give time to the relationship between her and Amali to like get to that point where she doesn't feel like she's asking him for, you know, to move in because she doesn't have a place, which she said herself, like that's exactly what it is. But she doesn't want that to be the motive. And I totally get that. Because it doesn't matter how old are you, how old you are, or how many years you've been dating somebody. I mean, you don't want to force that moment of moving in because you have um, like a really strong reason to do it beside the love and the commitment. Imagine, that you've been dating somebody and the conversation of moving in hasn't brought up just yet. But then you have to move out of your parents' house, and that's like, hey, can I move in with you? It doesn't feel right. And I'm 100% sure that Bali and O'Malley are in that place where they can easily move in together. But we will have to watch. We will have to see. That's what she said during my interview. Go watch it. Go listen to it. Podcast on my podcast or watch it on YouTube. She was very clear. If you want to know what happens, you can just wait and watch the show. You're gonna get so many answers on the show. But if we move in together or not, I mean, it will happen at the right time, which I respect. And talking about Nicholas, there was a moment that I almost cried watching. He called his aunt Terry. He said that his aunt Terry was like that person who he felt comfortable being himself with, even when he was 10 years old. Because he heard how she will talk about her gay friends and how much she loved them and the fact that he knew that she would be an ally. Obviously, he explained too that being an ally was not a concept that he had in mind when he was 10, but just the way that her aunt was acting made him feel comfortable around her, made him feel like, okay, I can be myself. So he asked her to be the one walking him down the aisle, which I think it was so amazing. Because as we know, Nicholas' parents don't want to be filmed. They are going to be part of the wedding, but they are not going to be on film. So it was not an option for them to be the ones walking him down the aisle. So I can see how that is part of the reasoning behind of his reaction when, you know, Henry's mom was asking for the guardian. Honestly, maybe a little confused. Maybe he's a little jealous of the fact that Henry has his family there, even though his family treat him as family. It must hurt to know that somebody wants to be so involved, like Henry's parents in their wedding, but then his parents, his own parents, don't seem to be kind of like 100% invested or 100% happy for him. They are not so interested that they were not filmed during the dinner when Enrich's parents meet them. Which has been a topic of this whole entire season. And even though we all knew that they were not going to be part of the conversation, I just wish we had like at least like a little footage or something. Maybe not of their faces because we gotta respect people's privacy and whatever they want to do. But at least like were they happy 100% to be there? They were welcoming. Obviously, we know that they were okay during the dinner because Enrich's parents were, saying really great things about him. And then the gaudy conversation came up to be again. And it triggered Nicholas so much that he kind of like ended the conversation in a very like he was upset. You can tell he was upset. I just cannot wait to watch their wedding because I know it's going to be amazing. You know that they have been working so hard for this and they deserve their happy ending. It's just a struggle. Any wedding is a problem when you are planning it. We all have issues planning a wedding, you know, um, making sure that both ideas are, you know, presented during the ceremony. Like people feel, so people can feel like they both, uh, the grooms or like the brides or the groom and the bride, whatever, um, their thoughts and plans and ideas about the wedding are, you know, perfectly mixed together. So the wedding looks like a place for the both of them and not just like one person planning it. And I think that's why sometimes Nicholas is like, yeah, but like most of this wedding is like Indian traditions. Like, where are my traditions and what I want for a wedding? So it could be hard. Like, it is hard as it is when two people from the same culture get married, let alone when two people from different cultures with different traditions get married. Like, that puts another layer of stress because you gotta make sure that both people involved are happy, you know? So that's like the biggie. That's like the big one. And to end the conversation about family karma, I want to highlight one thing. Bali and her daughter Anushka were on the episode, and their chemistry though is amazing. Like I loved their confessionals. Um, I loved Anushka way of like saying that her dress was like a bridesmaid from a low budget wedding when she was talking about her confessional outfit. You can tell that they are both very fashionable people. To me, Bali is like the fashion girl of the show, like hands down. So when you see her daughter, you kind of understand, yeah, she got that from Bali. That love for fashion come from her mom. She's always like dressing amazing. Her dress from BravoCon, it was incredible. And now her confessional, like amazing. I love Bali and her daughter. So I hope that we get to see them more, especially now when the wedding is coming to be. If you have any questions about family karma, let me know. I'm here. Or if you want to leave your opinion, you can go to Martini with Eddie on Twitter and Instagram because now we are heading to New Jersey. And let me tell you that premiere episode was a good start. I would say kind of like an A negative, like a like not the A plus, maybe like like an A. I'm giving it an A because I like when an episode showcase all the housewives in different settings. You know, I love when the show doesn't like um start with just like individual scenes. No, when we start the show, we have a few individual scenes and then group scenes. And how many group scenes we got on this first episode? Like 10. And I'm not exaggerating. It was like a group scene or at least like between two or three housewives talking. It was a lot. And we're gonna talk about it. One of the stuff that I'm kinda annoyed though, it's with the whole text argument. I don't know about you guys, but it seems to me that Melissa is quite upset with Teresa because she didn't reply to her text after the reunion. At reunion, that she made it a point to keep saying that she was kind of upset or like she felt like she wasn't being a family type of person because she was not part of the wedding party. But then she texts Teresa saying, "Oh, I don't care, it's fine." For those who pay attention to the online tweets, now we found out that the text messages were actually replied to in different ways. Um, it seems to me that Melissa was trying to have a moment, and people online were like, hold on 1 second. We had receipts, we had the whole entire text thread. No, Teresa replied to you, maybe not after that text, but it seems like there was some kind of like invitation to the birthday party, and then Melissa was complaining about that too. So I'm trying to kind of like gather the information as why one person was so upset about not getting a text message about the text during the reunion, which I can only imagine that being in a reunion for like 10 hours and you've been arguing, the last thing that you want to do is reply to somebody you were literally just arguing. So to me, the whole text shenanigans situation, it kind of like, I don't know, like it's a weird storyline. Like we need to do better right there. We need to do better. We need to do better. But Melissa's also planning an 80s roller skating party, which, by the way, I kind of like the 80s. I don't like the dress code. I hate neon and all this stuff. But I do like roller skating, and I'm here for a theme party. So they have this party, and that's when we get to meet, the new housewife, that Danielle and Raquel and the friend of Jennifer Fressler. I am obsessed with Danielle. I'm obsessed, obsessed, because I really love a fun housewife, a girl that just comes in and is just so happy to be there, and is bubbly, and has a family that has like a very cool like dynamic, and you can tell that you know she's just super extra. And I love extra. I like extra because extra is good, basic is too basic. And she's giving me like like all like back in the day housewife vibes, when all the housewives were like super over the top without being cringy. Like right now we get some housewives trying to do too much, but it doesn't feel like organic or like that's their personality. Like Danielle, it's pure Jersey slash Staten Island. And I love that she described herself like she had the Staten Island cojones and the sass and fun from the Jersey girls, because Jersey girls are known to be fun. Those are my girls. I'm from Jersey, and I completely understand what Danielle is trying to say, and that's why I appreciate Danielle, because I can see her as many of my friends that I grew up with. Like those are my friends, like bubbly, always ready to party, always like super happy and super sassy too. So I'm here for Danielle. I'm interested. I'm invested. Like the fact that she was when I mean they had an event to take some photos for a calendar for charity, and she was telling her husband how to pose. Like she's like, you gotta put some water, like dump some water over your body. You wanna look sexy. She was making sure that her husband was looking fine, so we can thirst over her husband. I'm here for the fun. I'm here for her. Also, at this 80s party, we see once again a weird interaction between you know, Teresa and Joe Gorga. I'm not a fan of Joe Gorga, I'm gonna be honest, because not because he's like married to Melissa and all this stuff, like beside the point. I'm not a fan of him because he's more of a housewife than Melissa herself. And even though Jersey's, you know, kind of like premises, it's all about the family circle, it's still about the housewives. And Joe Gorga is the reason why some house husbands tried really hard to get some like camera time. He was the first house husband to like basically become like a storyline on his own. And I appreciate the whole thing, maybe like for one season, but like dude, sit down. Like you're not Joanne, you're not Joanna, you're not I don't know, whatever. You are Joey. Like you're not Patricia, you're Peter kind of thing, like stay out of women's business, for God's sake. Like stay out of women's business. If you want to have issues, go have issue with the house husbands, not with the housewives, especially your sister. um he can't stop talking about the fact that Melissa is not part of Teresa's wedding party. What what most people don't understand is like it's not like she's not being invited to the actual wedding. She is not part of the wedding party like a bridesmaid. And even though Melissa is married to her brother, I mean, I don't think that is reason enough to be somebody's bridesmaid. Usually people pick like their best friends or like the circle of friends, or um, if you have a good relation with your own sister or something, that's what people chooses. You just don't like, oh, you're my brother's sister. You're already automatically involved. And not for nothing, both of them, Teresa and Melissa, have had a roller coaster of relationship, and most of the time it's always downs and lows. They have maybe a couple of like, if you put the time that they've been in good term versus the time they've been fighting, it's like 1 out of 10, meaning like one good time versus 10 bad times. So I can see both sides a little bit. Like obviously, maybe Melissa got hurt, got her feelings hurt because she thought she was gonna be part of Teresa's wedding party because Joe Gorga is like her brother and all this stuff. But I also can see Teresa be like, hey, we don't have a relationship here. We don't have a deep relationship. You know, sometimes even though blood is thicker than water, that doesn't mean that you're closer to your own blood or the people your blood has married to. I mean, that's it's not difficult to understand. And the fact that we're still talking about Melissa versus Teresa on season 13 is quite exhausting, you guys. Like, I'm tired. Like, we need to move on from this. Like, we either one of them has to go, or one of them has to be demoted or something, because it's kind of the same storyline. But this time, I do appreciate that Teresa is like, hey, if you don't want to talk to me, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna feed your fire. I'm not gonna get involved. You're gonna fight with the wall. And I'm 100% sure that this is happening because maybe Teresa realized that the more she engages with Melissa, uh, the more she becomes Melissa's like storyline. And I can see that. Let's see how this season goes between the two. There's supposed to be a lot of drama between them, and the closer the wedding gets, the nastier it gets. So we're gonna be here for a huge Melissa versus Teresa season. On the other side, though, Teresa invited Margaret to her house to have a conversation. And if you guys listen to my, exclusive, tea that I got, the tea episode that I got from New Jersey a couple of weeks ago, because I had the opportunity to watch this episode before the air. I mentioned this. I mean, I'm surprised of the fact that Teresa was influenced. I think basically by Louise to like talk to Margaret. That conversation was a hot mess, though. Let's be honest. That did not end it the way that we were expecting it to end. They Margaret was trying to turn the table on Teresa when Teresa asked her to come over to apologize to her. I mean, not to her, but to Louise. She said, like, I'm gonna apologize to you, but you also need to acknowledge what you did. And she didn't acknowledge that part. She made sure that every time that she had the chance to twist the conversation to make Teresa feel like she was the one who was being, mean spirit or something like that, or aggressive. She got it. She got the opportunity to the point that she left that house thinking that, okay, I was invited here. She apologized to me. I am not on the wrong. But yes, I agree with you, Aaron. I think this moment between Teresa and Margaret was a first step in the right direction between them. I mean, do I believe Margaret and Teresa are gonna be friends ever again? Absolutely not. They don't like each other. But at least we know that they are trying to coexist as co-workers, and that's something that other housewives should learn to do. I'm looking at you, Salt Lake City, where everybody hate each other. But yeah, it is a good step on the right direction. What um what I think is even more interesting though is the fact that Margaret did not lose time to run to Melissa to let her know what it was said at this table, especially because we saw the conversation ending like they were laughing and they were having a good time. I guess everybody was just like, okay, we're fine. But Margaret, being Margaret, she told Melissa at the photo shoot that she had a conversation with Teresa, but Louis called her. Um, she said that Louis like called her like insecure and stuff like that. Obviously, Melissa did not like that, and she started, freaking out and whatever. And I don't know. I think Lewis's point and what they were saying about Melissa is the fact that Melissa didn't have Teresa's back on the last season when people were trying to, to create all this like um drama around Lewis about his, like reputation and the video, the fact that Margaret kept talking about it and Teresa didn't want to talk about it anymore, and Melissa was hosting them all down the shore, and she texted Melissa asking her to please like back her up, not have people talk about it, and she didn't. So that's where Lewis said that about Melissa. So I mean, there's once again there is some truth behind it, but it's all part of the game. It's all part of what they do to keep the story moving. It just got to the point where it's so calculated. Like for example, Margaret, did she need to run to Melissa to tell her all this stuff? I don't think so, because the whole point was to move forward, and by going to Melissa is, planting the seed of, like, in the stir the pot, between Teresa and Melissa, which is what she wants. You know, I mean, Margaret is trying to produce this whole thing, and obviously it's working, because we're gonna see this like big fights between Teresa and Melissa down the road. Big fights like the Jennifer versus Dolores. I talk about this too. That was the fight that I was talking. I was surprised when I saw Dolores and Jennifer going at each other so hard, especially because I didn't see that coming. And Dolores was going hard on Jennifer before they met. She was really talking, to like Frankie, and then to other people how she felt about Jennifer. And if it's all because of the reunion, I mean, that was some hardcore feelings, you know. But Jennifer approached her, trying to have the conversation, and it ended in a huge blowout. They were calling each other's name. Jennifer said once again her iconic Mayor Webster, where you at kind of moment. And that's that was so like hard. It was not fun to watch, because I really like Jennifer and Dolores's friendship. We had said this before. I do believe that Jennifer and Dolores are friend with each other, or friendly with each other, because they both are friend with Teresa. I mean, their reasoning to be in good terms with each other is Teresa. But beside that, they have been going back and forth sometimes. During the reunion last season, um, Jennifer definitely was not happy with Dolores, because she didn't speak up for her when it was time to do so. So yeah, that's where this fight is coming from. Is it gonna be an explosive the whole entire season, or is it gonna be a fight that's gonna last 2 or 3 episodes? We will know that very soon. One thing that really made me laugh, like laugh out loud, was when Jackie was talking to Raquel, and she told her, "You're not looking at me. Well, you're not including me in the conversation." And I'm thinking to myself, and that's why you're not a full-time housewife, because you don't know how to, you know, demand attention in a room, or you don't know how to, like, not demand it, because that's what she was trying to do, but like command. That's the word, command attention. You don't have the star power. Literally, a newbie was outshining you just because she wasn't looking at you during the conversation, you know. And Raquel is like, yeah, but there's so many people out here. There's so many moving parts. I like, I can just like looking at you. I can just be like looking at you, you know. Like, I'm sorry if you felt like not included, and that's why production was like, well, Jackie, you're not included as a full time either. That was hysterical. I noticed that immediately, and I was like, ooh, Jackie was demoted in that moment. In that moment, I felt like her contract was expired. Expired. What is not expired is Vanderpump Rules, which, by the way, the ratings were higher than some of the Housewives episodes. That's how high it was. It's like uh, a 800,000 plus, like 816,000, 820,000. And I'm happy for my VPR people, because that is my favorite show on Bravo. Hands down. Like, non housewife show. My favorite show that is not housewives related is VPR. And the drama that is, you know, the drama on this season is going to be explosive. It's going to be like old school Vanderpump Rules. because a lot of the characters, like the most like fun and kind of like petty and shady, are single. Miss Lala is single. Katie is single. Um, and then we have Tom Swartz is single-ish. So it's a lot of people being single in that show, where everybody was like, couple up for the past few seasons. So I'm expecting a lot of freaking, you know, drama from them. The episodes start with Katie and Tom Swartz, like talking about their divorce, and the process, how they went different ways, and how they grow apart. They grew apart, and that happens. I saw this relationship ending many seasons ago. I like both of them. I like both of them. Tom and Katie are both amazing people, but sometimes two amazing people are not made for each other. And that's the case of them. I think Tom Swartz he wants one thing, Katie wants another, and grow, people just grow apart. That's what happened to them, you know. So they are co-parenting their dogs. They're trying their best to be friends while separating and divorcing, which is not easy. Not easy at all. I can say that myself for personal experience. Because after my first divorce, I did not want to be friend with my ex. And the funniest part is back at Sir, Katie, Lala, and Ariana had like a little lunch. The girls having a good time. I love my girls, man. Lala, Katie, and my queen Ariana. I adore Ariana. Um, are the show to me personally. The girls are the show. Obviously, Tom Sandoval, and Tom Swartz are, iconic. The iconic part of uh, Vanderpump Rules. But my girls are the show. They were talking about how Katie's trying to be a really good friend with Tom Swartz, right? And Ariana said in her confessional, like, she doesn't understand how this is gonna work. Like, she thinks this is like it's gonna be difficult for them to do it in the long run. And if any of her exes call her Booba, that's how Swartz calls Katie, she will call the cops. And I'm here for that because it's true. I hope none of my exes call me by nicknames after we ended stuff, especially divorcing, because it's not happening. I'm here 100% with Ariana. Another new relationship that we noticed on this first episode is Raquel and Peter. But that was awkward, you guys. There was no chemistry. There's more chemistry between water and oil, and they don't mix. None. No chemistry. And I feel bad for Peter because Peter seems to be interested. Like, he seems to be like excited to be dating this girl. But Raquel is, I don't know if she's acting awkward for the cameras, but that scene between the two was given really bad sex chemistry. Like, I feel like Raquel was trying to walk away from this conversation as fast as she could. And she runs into James. James is dating this girl named Ali, who he says is the love of his life. Same thing that he told Raquel. Now this girl, a month after got, they break up and they ended the engagement. Now this girl is the new love of his life, which is fine. Girls likes to know that they are somebody's love of their lives, but at the same time, I don't think it's okay to throw in the word love after like 1 month of dating. Like, even if you are in love with the person, you just don't say it. You just wait because feelings are fresh on both sides. Like, feelings are super fresh. And if you say the L word before anybody else and you start telling people that you are in love with this person, you're gonna look a fool if you break up right after, you know? So give yourself time. Give yourself time. But James, he has no idea of time, like no concept of it. Because after him running into Raquel, we got a scene where Lala is talking to him, and she asked him if they moved in together, which he replies yes. And I'm like, boy, slow down. You're giving like U-Haul vibes. Like, you just go on a date with an U-Haul just to pack up her stuff and take it home, right? Eric sent a message. He says, love after a month, run. Yes. Fast, fast, and faster. Like, just run. Just run as fast as you can. I do not believe that you be throwing the word love like that. You gotta wait. I mean, wait. Give the relationship time to evolve, because that's how many people end up like in really bad relationship, because they said they said they love each other in like a month, and then they force themselves into being in the relationship because they think that that's the person that they need to be with. And the fact that that they are living together already, like after a month, like, let's take it easy. Let's take it easy. And James is drinking again. So while Kennedy is gonna come out, it's gonna come out. You know, the wild Kennedy is gonna start being dramatic, and it's gonna start being, like, feisty and arguing with everybody, because we've seen this before when he was drinking in the past. It was not cute to watch. It was exhausting at times. So I'm a little concerned because he's saying that he's only having like one drink or two, that he knows how to manage it. But when you have an alcohol problem and you stop drinking because you are doing your steps, you know, to become sober. And after a few years of being sober, he was sober for like, I think, like a year and a half, 2 years. Um, but no, he's drinking now again, drinking again. Um, I honestly do not understand the process of, you know somebody thinking, okay, I can manage my alcohol, when you know the alcohol is your problem. And then that's how shit hit the fan sometimes, you guys. I'm really happy, at least, that James seems happy. He seems like he's having a good time with his girlfriend. She's playing, his DJ gigs and all the stuff. That makes me happy for him, because that's what he loves to do. He loves music. He's doing great. He's working at Sir, DJing and doing all this stuff. Fantastic. But the whole drinking, I'm concerned, because whenever Wild Kennedy comes out, it's gonna be messy. It's gonna be real messy. Another dynamic that is changing a little bit is between Lala and Swords, because Swords decided to play pickleball, which, by the way, who the hell plays pickleball though? Like, what is this? I cannot believe that on last season we have this whole thing about pickleball, and I never knew that that was an actual thing. Now, obviously, I know it existed. I know what it is, but I never knew somebody that was so passionate about pickleball. So the fact that we start still talking about it because Randall, I'm like, I don't even know pickleball. So yeah, that's the reason why Lala is not talking to Swords because he decided to play a game with pickleball with Randall when Lala specifically said none of her friends to be involved or to have a friendship with this man who cheated on her and has the whole casting couch, you know, um, the whole casting couch drama and accusations. And we know the news. We know the news. We read the news. We know exactly what happened, and I can see Lala's side. Obviously, she is not. She shouldn't be asking people to stop being friends with somebody, but I can see why she's doing it. These people, this is her circle of friends, which included Tom Swartz. But then he goes ahead and decides to go and play with this guy while she is trying to win a custody battle. It's a tricky situation. So I can see exactly why she was not happy with him, and she was very upfront about it. I love Lala. Lala does not play games. Lala definitely it's a great Bravo Lab. She is amazing at her confessionals. Like that confessional, her saying that James Kennedy is obsessed with uh, a thin-lipped bitch. That's what she called these girls. She said like first was um was Raquel, then Ali, and then she said like even I was a thin lip bitch when we started, banging. You know, um, Lala is the type of girl that you either gonna really like or you're not gonna like. For those who haven't watched Vanderpump Rules, Lala is the type of girl that most people will not like if you meet a Lala in the real world because she is direct. She speaks her mind, but she has no filter in doing so. Like she's gonna cuss you out. She's not gonna like sugarcoat anything, and that can be sometimes intimidating for some people. But I appreciate that about her because it's truly what makes her interesting. I'm also happy that she's having her single life moment. She cannot stop talking about sex and banging guys and stuff like that. You know why? Have a good time because you were married to Randall. I'm not gonna say anything about. Everybody knows Randall. So have fun. Go enjoy your life. You have a daughter who's beautiful, but you also have to be, your own persona. You also have to have fun, and that's what Lala is doing. She's taking this opportunity to not settle down and just have fun, and good for her. Absolutely good for her. This episode, you guys, is the perfect setting for the whole entire season. If the season is like this first episode, is going to be an explosive, amazing season. And so many people were saying Vanderpump Rules is gonna get canceled after last season because it's not the same. I'm like, of course it's not the same. They filmed last season during the pandemic. They couldn't go out. They had all these like events at people's houses in every single episode because restaurants were closed. Um, yeah. So now that finally we have all the restaurants open and everything is, back to normal ish. We finally get to see them going out and having a good time and being the same messy gang that they were before the pandemic. And that's why this episode had such a high ratings, because everybody was excited about this, to see them back to their normal, like, outings and going out, going to the club. And even though, you know, they are dealing with, more adult topics, they are dealing with, divorces and scandals, and Tom opening, Swords and Sandy's, their own business. They are adulting. That's what I'm trying to say. They are not, Swords waiters anymore. They are not like the host in the front, uh so they have a life on their own. They do have something else to talk about, not just getting drunk and being messy. Now they are drunk and can be messy while they're doing adult stuff. And I love that about them, because it doesn't matter how old you are. You can be in your late 30s, in your early 40s, you still can be fun. And I feel like a lot of the housewife shows have that problem. Have the problem that they forget that not everything has to be some heavy dark drama. That you can also have fun, and and enjoy the time that you are filming, because they only film for a few months. So I hope this season is dramatic, but it's also fun. That's all I want. That's why I love Vanderpump Rules. It's always fun. It reminds me of how they were when they were waiters back in SOAR. But now they have the same energy while being parents, or while being married, or while owning businesses. So for those who don't watch Vanderpump Rules, you should definitely go watch it. Like, it's one of those shows that even if you watch the first season and on, or you just decide to watch like here episodes here and there, you will totally enjoy and fall in love with the cast. Give it a chance. It's a great show. And it did great on the ratings, so I highly doubt the VPR is going anywhere. So yes, you guys, that was an amazing premiere. So kudos to the whole entire cast. I'm ready for episode 2. And to end the night, oh my god, this is definitely a supersized episode. I'm gonna talk about Miami real quick, because um, this episode, Miami specifically, I feel like it was more like a fun episode, kind of like the calm before the storm. It's not stormy yet. The drama is not there just yet. It was kind of like a fun part of the trip. So I wanna say that I actually am enjoying Julia's witchcraft talk, or whatever, botanic lady. She went to this like women, and got some kind of like powders and herbs and like, I don't know, stuff like gift for the girls, and like crystals and whatnot. And I'm thinking like, Peacock, you better get your stuff together, because my girl and Wicca Queen Carton from Beverly Hills, she lives in Miami. She's been living in Miami for a long time. So if you're gonna bring a witchcraft, storyline, we need Carton back. And I think it would be the best way to introduce Carton back on the Housewife universe, because I need her back. I need her back. Though I need her back on Beverly Hills, so she can continue her scaring um, Kyle with like, that was like the craziest stuff, guys. I don't know if you guys watch Beverly Hills season 4, but allegedly, Cartoon put a spell on Kyle's computer, and some words will pop in on the screen. That was like the best thing to me, you guys. I've been a Cartoon fan since season 4. I love her. She deserved better. She deserved a second season. Obviously, she didn't get it because Kyle had way too many strings pulled behind the scene. So But those who watch season 4 know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's why I think if we're going to talk about like witchcraft and what's not on Miami, as might as well just bring her to the table because she lives in Miami. Marisol couldn't go to the trip, at least not from the beginning, because she got COVID, and she told Alexia that she thinks somebody's doing witchcraft on her, which kind of upset Julia because Julia felt like she is just trying to do a good gesture by getting gifts for the girls at this like botanic women or whatever. But she felt like they were trying to make it look like she's trying to do some kind of like bad energy or like whatever eye, the evil eye, whatever on them. I think it's hysterical. I I mean, do I believe in that stuff? Maybe. I don't say that it's not true though. I'm saying not everybody who says there is like a botanic or a medium or one of those people are real. Do I believe that some people do have those supernatural powers? Yes, I do think that. I do think that some people this have those gifts. So I I enjoyed that when they were trying to paint Julie as this like witch. Hysterical. Hysterical. Uh Free Talk sent me a question about Miami. His Free Talk said, is Lisa Hodgson like broke now with the divorce? I mean, you mean broke as like no money, right? Well, Lisa Hodgson, I mean, I don't think she's broke. I don't think she has as much money as before, but I don't think she's broke. She's also dating now somebody who's like a millionaire, like a multi-millionaire, because the guy is a tech guy. He owns like a tech company. So she is probably doing just fine. But I do believe that she has to have some money, especially from the divorce. I don't think that the that gnome that evil gnome named Lenny just didn't give her any money, especially because that's the mother of his kids. So um, I will look into it. I don't think she's broke though. I do not think she's like broke. Maybe she's not as rich anymore. The the Bahama trips that we are watching right now, it's the perfect sample of why I love Miami. We know for a fact that it's going to get dramatic. We've seen the trailers, we've seen the scenes, but on this episode, it seems like everybody's having a good time. Yeah, there's some shady moments, like I mentioned before, Alexia calling Julia almost like a witch or something like that. Um, like feeling like she felt like like weird taking this gift because Alexia explained that when people go to those like I don't know, botanica, whatever it calls, people go for themselves, like whenever they want to heal something on their own or, cure their own illnesses, but they don't go for somebody else. So she was hoping that the reason why Julia went to her was for good intentions. We don't know. And then we also have like a great moment when they were playing this like game, and there was a question about DP. No, there was a question to uh, Adriana asking her about her porn search on Google, and she said that it was mainly DP. Which, by the way, if you don't know what DP is, I'm not gonna explain to you graphically, but just imagine two stuff going inside one part. Two stuff going inside of one stuff. That's what a DP is in a very PG uh, explanation. But the funniest part is that Julia had no idea what a DP was, and she kept asking the women as the women is having different conversations. She's like, "But can somebody tell me what's a DP? What is a DP, girls? What is a DP?" And I'm thinking, "Oh my gosh, girl, pull out your phone and Google it." It's that easy. Double the fun. Double the fun. That's exactly what it is. Um, Another moment that I truly enjoyed was when Julia talked to Gertie about her adoption process, and I'm invested. I want Julia to adopt this kid because at the end of the day, if being a mother is so important to her, go and have a kid. I mean, she says she doesn't want to have a kid naturally. Obviously, she wants to adopt the kid. So if you have the means and you have the opportunity to save a life and provide, hey, why not? A lot of people online are saying that, oh, she just want a kid to fulfill an emptiness. I mean, that isn't it that what parents do anyways? Like, oh, Julia is having like empty nest syndrome because all her kids are gone, like to college and whatever, and she wants this new kid just for to fulfill that space because probably has issue with her relationship with Martina or something like that. Who cares? If it works for them to keep the marriage together, that's their prerogative. I don't think that they're doing it for those reasons. I do believe that maybe they just want to be parents and to provide for a new baby in the house. And if she's doing so because she has the money to do it, good for them. Good for them. I will never have a kid because I don't have the patience. I have anxiety, so having a kid will send me on a spiral of anxiety if the kid gets sick or if the kid falls up the stairs or something like that. I do not want to deal with that. I would rather just stick to being the cool gay uncle who always bring the cool gift to the parties or is always taking the kids to like the movie theaters, but I can send them back to their parents. That is what I'm doing for the world. I don't think the world need me to have kids because no, 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 that's not happening. At the end of the episode, Adriana and Alexia are having a conversation, especially because they are both OGs and they do have a long story and they had a fallout this season that it was very apparent. I like them both. I actually like everybody on that cast except Larsa. I'm not a big fan of Larsa and her braids. I'm sorry, that was not a look. That was not cute. That was appropriation. I don't care what anyone says. She said that oh, there is different type of braids. There are different type of braids. I'm not a black person and not a black woman, so I'm not gonna be talking on that topic because I don't think I have the knowledge or the rights to be talking about this. But I'm very sure that Larsa was appropriating a little bit those braids from black women's culture. That's just my opinion. Um, so I don't think it's cute. Even Gertie said um, that Larsa was ballsy for wearing them. And I think that was just a way of saying like she shouldn't be doing it. Read between the lines. Larsa is the only one that I'm not a big fan of. Like I'm not a big fan of Larsa. Um, her monotone voice annoys the shit out of me. Like she tried to act like a Kardashian, and I'm not a fan of the Kardashian as it is. So she reminded me of like a Sheen low budget version of like Kim Kardashian. And maybe that's why I don't like her. Because if I wanted to like a Kardashian, I would like the original ones. The baby voice, the forced kind of like monotone voice like this, like I just don't like it, and I did it. Like everything sounds the same. I'm mad. I'm happy. I'm upset. I'm excited. And that's how they talk. Like it's so annoying. So that same voice, Larsa has it. So maybe that's why I'm not a big fan. Not a fan. I know I'm talking too long about Larsa. Like I'm repeating myself. It's just like an observation, and I think um, the fact that she seems to always try to bring people down. Like she started with Lisa, but obviously with the divorce that she's going through, she became a friend of her. Then she went after Julia. She went after Adriana. She has gone after Nicole. So it's like every single episode, there's a new person that she goes after, and it's given like, okay, so but what is your story? Larsa Pippen. So Adriana was saying like, hey, we are OGs. Alexia, you're an OG, and Lars is an OG, and Marisol is an OG, and whenever and Adriana has felt like when Alexia and Marisol are together, they kind of single her out, and they don't make her feel welcome, and they were having a great connection and a great moment, and you can tell that they were making progress until here enters Marisol with a megaphone. I'm like, Marisol, didn't you just have COVID, or what's happening here? I'm happy that she's there because I love Marisol. I think she is an awesome person to go on a trip. You know that she is messy in a fun way. You know that she's shady in a fun way. You know that she doesn't, hide, that she likes to party, that she likes to drink. She's been very upfront this season about a lot of stuff that even though I don't do, it's just refreshing to see somebody that um, is somebody that actually like is not afraid to say anything. And I agree with you, Aaron. I think Lars's storyline this season specifically is to fight with Nicole and the newbies. That's right. Because Jesus Christ, that argument with Nicole, I mean, the fact that she brought up the whole rumor that she was sleeping with the whole entire hospital, like that was very low because Nicole is a doctor. She has fought really hard her whole entire life to get to the point where she's at. To come here, Larsa, whose only storyline that is memorable for the past two seasons is the fact that she sells feet pictures on OnlyFans and allegedly makes $40,000 a month just by taking picture of her moisturized feet. Which I'm sorry, that I that's not it. I don't buy that story. Once again, not even on sale or clearance. I do not buy the story, the fact that she's making that much money on OnlyFans just by showing feet. I mean, we are all adults here. We are grown ups. We know what's happening. We know what the deal is. Um, so when Marisol enters the room, they show Adriana, and she seems upset because she was finally making progress with Alexia, and he comes Marisol, and that's the end of it. That's the end of the episode, and I'm excited because we know that that episode that is coming up is going to be dramatic. We saw the trailer at the beginning, and it seems like Adriana mentions Frankie to Alexia, which I think is very low. Alexia is such a great mother. I mean, Alexia has made some comment this season and had said some stuff that I don't agree with, but I love Alexia. I'm an Alexia bro. Like I name us Team Alexia bros. I'm all for Alexia broing. Um, Obviously, I can call out whenever a fave say something wrong, and she had said many things wrong this season. but she is a great mother. That's one thing that Alexia is a great mother, especially to Frankie. So, and we saw it on this episode. She had a sit down with the guy who is like Frankie's shadow, the person in charge of making sure that Frankie has a, build independency and stuff like that. And the conversation was great. You can tell that she really wants the best for him. So to see Adriana bring him up in a conversation that it doesn't sound like it was in a from a kind, good place. I'm gonna wait until the episode airs before I make my opinion on it. But I didn't like it. I'm not a fan of that. Um, Especially Frankie should be out of the conversation. Period. End of the story. He shouldn't be talked about to start with because he's not even part of uh, the drama. It's like dragging somebody in just for the sake of it. So, besties, there you go. Supersized episode. We talked about Potomac, Family Karma, New Jersey, Vanderpump Rules, Miami. And next week we have Summer House. I love Summer House. I'm excited for this new season, and I love the gang. I love this cast. So that will be added to the recap. Next week we will have Summer House. We will have New Jersey. We'll have Vanderpump Rules and Miami to talk about. We will not have Potomac and Family Karma because of the Super Bowl. But I'm definitely gonna talk about the Super Bowl halftime, even if it's for like 5 minutes. So if you watch it, if you like Rihanna, be ready because we will be talking about Super Bowl for 5 minutes. We're not gonna get in depth. But back to two episodes next week for recaps and a special guest. And if you want to know all the tea about my trip to Charleston, the one that I just went, where I hang out with the Southern Hospitality cast, tune in tomorrow, Friday, 10th at 6 p.m. As you know, it will definitely be available after on YouTube and podcast. So this is the moment where I tell you, if you like this episode, if you got to this point, the end of it, please subscribe and rate my podcast because as a podcaster, that's how we survive. Your rates and your love and support. Also, go and subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can watch the video version of all my podcasts. And you can also participate through the live chat because all my shows are recorded live. And all your comments and your questions are read live. So please join the conversation by subscribing to my YouTube channel and clicking on the bell so you get notified whenever I go live. And also, you know where to follow me. You got Instagram, you got TikTok, and Twitter. If you like the hot tea, the hottest one, and the one that happened right in the spot, go and follow me on Twitter. But you can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok, where you can find more and more tea and more martinis with Eddie. I also have my own website. It's martiniswitheddie.com. Thank you so much, you guys. This has been an amazing night, and it's been an amazing week for us Bravoholics. I will see you all tomorrow, and you know what I always say at the end of this show. Bye, besties!